So today's topic is really, really important because every single day there are more advertisers, more competitors coming into the marketplace. So I want to take time today to speak about why attention is a new currency and what you can do about it so that you're maintaining profitability, you're staying top of mind, and ensuring that you are the number one choice for your clients in a sea of lots of choices these days. So, really quick though, before we get started, you guys, by the time you guys hear this episode, I will already have turned 30. And it's a week before my 30th birthday. My birthday's on May 2nd. Today's April 25th. So you guys are probably going to hear this in like a month, 3 weeks maybe, because your girl is batching and I'm all about it. But I am honestly so excited. And usually on my birthdays every year, I'm really down, I'm really sad, and I'm just like not a happy person to be around because for a long time I really struggled with like death because when I was like I lost my dad when I was 10 years old, and then like 5 years later my stepdad passed away. My mom had got remarried to her first husband. It's a long story, but like really early on I lost two really important men in my life, and for so long I just didn't find a lot of like hope, right? Getting older just meant like more darkness and more death and all those things. And I think over the last few years I've really been able to find the light in the darkness. So I'm just really excited for my birthday because for once I'm looking forward to it. For once I'm proud of myself. For once I'm just so cognizant of how much life we actually have. David Nagel, I listen to his podcast all the time. We'll be sure to link it in the show notes. It's called the Successful Mind Podcast, and I've probably mentioned it here many of times. But he talks about the concept of more life. Like that's the purpose of us doing the things that we do every day, is to have more life. And what's the point of doing this all if we don't have more life? So for me, moving forward in my life, birthdays signal more life. Because there's a person that didn't wake up today. There's a person that didn't wake up that's not going to wake up tomorrow. And for as long as I get to breathe on this earth, I am going to be celebrating every birthday, every day, every breath, every minute that I have. And I think that's just a super important reminder for all of us, because we get so caught up in the weeds and like what we have to do, what we should do, that we forget that we are living, breathing humans experiencing more life. And what's the point of all of this if we're not truly having more life and living more life and having a fuller, grander, better life every day? So just a reminder, and feel free to send your girl a message when you guys hear this podcast. And I'm excited to step into a new decade. I was really nervous for a long time, but now I'm really excited. So I figured I'd share that with you guys. I know a lot of y'all are in your 30s already, so I still got a week, so I'm still celebrating these 29s, the year 20s. But by the time y'all hear this podcast, I will be a young, fresh 30 years old. So I'm ready for it. Okay, so let's dive into today's topic, and let's just jam on it, because I think it's really important that as business owners that we are on the offense versus the defense. And so often entrepreneurs are playing defense nonstop. And I think defense has a very important role. It has a very important place. But at the same time, in the market that we're in the fear-mongering that we're in the universe that we exist in, we have to be cognizant, and we got to get on offense, y'all, period. So when I think about attention being the new currency, I've heard a few people say this. I've heard Alex Hermosi say this, like Huffington Post. Like a lot of people have said this, right? I think Alex made famous attention is the new oil. And when we really think about attention, you have to think about us all in a marketplace. We're all in this big, gigantic marketplace trying to sell our services. Not even trying, like we over here selling, okay? But a lot of people are out here trying, and I see y'all, and a lot of people are out here being and doing, and I equally see y'all, and we come up against this landscape of having to discern and decipher the differences between us and our competition. And more than ever, personally, if I'm being very transparent, it has felt not more difficult. It just has felt like there's extra steps that we've had to take. For example, right? I've been running the same funnel for the last 2 years, and it's like it basically feels like it prints money. It's done really well. We've been very successful and very profitable with it. And then on the flip side, right? Actually, take that little part out. We've done very well with it. But what I'm realizing is that as more and more people enter into the marketplace in my same space, right? I'm in the make money space, coaches space, right? And I've been in this space for a long time now, a good amount of time. I'm realizing that what I've been doing isn't working as well anymore. It's still working, but it's not working as well. That's because I have more competitors. I have more people that have, I wouldn't say better offers, but on the outside, it may look better because they've added a or don't pay guarantee or whatever like that. But we all know those type of offers, at least in my opinion. I don't really think that they're great, but I digress. But what I do want to talk about and just kind of jam on is the idea that we all have to look at our offers and our products and what we do every day and realize that at any point in time it can just stop working, right? And I bring this up because, again, it's not that our stuff isn't working. I literally just got a high ticket client enrollment like an hour ago right before this podcast while I was on a coaching call. So it's not that it's not working. It's that we have to get ahead and innovate so that when it does come to a head, we're not left behind, right? We're not on a cart and the horse is just running away, right? So some of the tactical things that we're doing right now in our business is really doubling down on what we're really good at. And what that looks like is shouting from the rooftops how good we are at leads and sales and DMs and evergreen. That's what we're known for, and just continuing to triple down on that message. So whether it's in emails, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on this podcast, whether it's on YouTube, wherever we're publishing any content, being really we're being very, is it bullish? Is that the word? We're being very bullish with the fact that we're really damn good at what we do and we need everybody to know about it. So we're being really bullish on that and making sure that everybody knows who the hell we are, what we stand for, what we do, and how good we are, okay? So that's the first thing. And that's everywhere. It's the theme is, it is what it is. Y'all already know when you come to me, this is what you're going to get, period. So there's no question on what you're going to get when you come to me, okay? The other part of this, I got my hands going. Y'all listening to the podcast, if you watch on YouTube, you can see me, but if you're listening, my hands are moving because I'm so serious about this. The second thing is really recognizing that I am, for now, as a personal brand, I am my product. So being super in alignment with that and showing more of that online. For a long time, I didn't really show much about my life. I didn't really share much about me as a person, not because I was hiding anything or anything like that, but I just didn't feel like it was relevant. I was I'm here to help women create wealth. I'm here to help women generate leads, grow their coaching business. That's what I'm here for. People don't really care about my life. And I'm realizing the opposite. More than ever, how you stand out is who you are. Who you're being, who you are, how you're showing up, the lifestyle that you have. Because no matter what, people are ready and willing to buy. But if you look like everybody else and sound like everybody else, you're a commodity. And that's what I'm actively working on, is because people have come into the market, specifically on the types of offers that we sell, and have literally taken our offers and commoditized them, dropped the price and added guarantees and said, oh, I'm better. But in reality, they didn't really improve the product, right? Or the offer, they just slapped guarantees on it. And from a consumer perspective, that looks or appears like a better offer. So then the question is, how do we make ourselves different in that? Because what I'm not going to do, is compete on price. I'm not competing on price with nobody. This ain't Walmart. And this ain't like this is not, low prices every day. This is not what this is, okay? I'm all for some great value, low ticket products. Like, y'all will see more in our online coach shop. So by now, definitely go check out our online coach shop if you haven't. Like, we're constantly doing flash sales. Please go check it out because it's an amazing resource for y'all. But when it comes to my high ticket products and my offers and my coaching, that's not cheap, period. And I'm not about to compete with people on price. That's the worst. You'll be out of business before you started competing on price. So that leaves us to operate in a way that we haven't necessarily had to operate in the last few years because it wasn't necessary, because we were just really good at what we did, and like that spoke for itself, period, right? So now we're looking at, how can we also look at how we're saying things, our messaging, and make it more disruptive? How can we do it so that, and I think I talked about this in a previous podcast a little bit about offer improvements, like how can we make, not even necessarily that you always have to improve the offer, it's really about how can you speak about it in a way that's different than everybody else, right? So for me, selling your group coaching program on autopilot was disruptive, it was sexy, it was fresh, it was new, and now it's not anymore because it's not that it's not, because again, it's still working, but people have like taken that as gold and now are reselling that. So now I can either sit here and pout about it or I can boss up about it. And I've done both, but as I've gotten more sophisticated in business, as I've made a lot of money, as I've helped a lot of people, as I've dealt with a lot of different circumstances and scenarios, when I look at this has been a big challenge for me, but also it's been equally rewarding because it allows me to tap back into my creativity. It allows the innovator to motherfreaking innovate, okay? And that's what I'm here for. So I want to pose to all of you, if you're feeling in this spot where, and a good litmus test of this is if you go online and your feed is filled with the same stuff, nobody's talking about anything different, every ad you see is the same, then, and it's in your industry, then it's probably time to do something different. It's probably time to say something different, right? It's just like, I can go put a black top on or a green top. Like, that's like, the person doesn't change, right? Your offer doesn't necessarily have to change, but the thing on the outside, which is the messaging, like how you're packaging it up, how you're speaking about it, will have to be a little bit more disruptive and different, okay? So I'll kind of give you guys a peek into that. I wasn't going to share it, but I'll share on this podcast. So really some of the angles that we're playing around with, and it's not fully fleshed out yet, but it's coming, is really playing around with adding a piece into our funnel that's already working. So we're not changing the core offer, but we're adding in a piece to it so that essentially when we're marketing our programs is that, not only are you going to be able to get leads on autopilot, but you'll basically be able to have Facebook ads that pay for themselves, right? And it's not a typical slow funnel or anything like that, but it's really incorporating the ability to make some of that ad spend back faster, because with high ticket, typically you're seeing people enroll 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, sometimes longer. There's a small percentage of people I've had people enroll within hours of finding us in our funnel, but that's not common, right? Typically people are, in the B2B for us, it's usually 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, somewhere in there. And then you have that long-term nurture and follow-up. So for us, like one of our biggest things for our clients is like, if they could get more of that money back faster, that's really sexy. That's really enticing. That helps them not only from like a marketing standpoint, that's great, but from a actual like tangible how things are working standpoint, that's really powerful because it allows them, right? It allows our clients to be able to recoup some of that ad spend more so on the front end, right? Or in the middle of the funnel, right? Because I'm not teaching a slow funnel, it's a completely different funnel, but allows them to recoup some of that money in the middle of the funnel so that by the time the client is actually ready to buy the high ticket thing, they paid for themselves because they've bought another product from you, etc. Right? So that's really the new marketing angle that I'm working on. So if I see y'all coming out with it, I know you got it from me, and I'm gonna be knocking on your door. Okay? But yeah, I'm really excited for it, and it's basically build a funnel that basically the ads basically pay for themselves. Okay? Now, with that being said, that's kind of some of the direction that we're going, right? And we're really just getting hyper focused on what we're really good at. Okay? The next thing that we're really focusing on so we can attract more attention and hold people's attention is, having more entry points for people to find us and work with us. And I'm really excited about this. For a long time, y'all know I've been the one offer queen. I'm like, sell one offer to $500,000, 300K, $1 million, whatever. Sell it and then do other things, okay? Because most people, including myself, we have this little pesky thing called shiny object syndrome, and we can't focus for a damn, okay? And what I realized that is, in the last 4 years, that's been perfect. Like, it's been amazing. It's been perfect. It's worked really well. And again, we're back to the point where it's not working as good as it could, okay? So one of the other things that we're adding in, and it's kind of related to the new marketing angle, the disruptive marketing angle you're going to see from us. Essentially, the online coach shop is really like a candy store for coaches. Like, it's your one-stop shop to be able to grab templates and trainings to sell your courses and programs, essentially on autopilot, right? Now, we're going to have some organic marketing and all of that in there too, because organic is powerful, and it's going to be really important that y'all know what it is. And what I'm realizing is that it's going to be equally as important to acquire customers as it is to retain them. And if we can get customers in for 37, 57, 67, 97, 197, whatever it is, that person is also going to be likely to ascend, okay? So for a long time, I had a descension model, but now we are kind of flipping the script and having more of an ascension model, okay? So I'd usually sell the highest price thing and then drop people down, but now what we're focused on, because there's more people in the marketplace, is focusing on more of an ascension model. So not a traditional product suite, because that's just not my vibe, but having those entry-level price points, especially on our coach shop, right, our online coach shop, so people can basically get a little appetizer, get a little bite here, get a little bite there, and then from there, everything will direct back to work with us in our higher level program, okay? And then eventually, our 7-figure upgrade mastermind, which that is launching in Q3. So we're going to be releasing the wait list in, I think, June or July. So more to come about that. But essentially, we're going to have a true ascension model, not a full product suite, but an ascension model. So essentially, pretty much y'all can work with us in any way at any price point. And that's as accessible as it's going to be, right? As accessible as it can really get without it being free, and even free isn't really even accessible. So we're doing our best, and I'm just really excited for the shop because I launched it at the end of last year, but then I had surgery, and then I was in the ER in January. So like end of Q4 and Q1 were kind of crazy. It was like bliss and chaos at the same time. But now that my new operations manager, Leslie, is in place, I'm so excited. We are tag teaming that together to build the shit out of it. It's going to be freaking amazing, and I'm so excited to get it to a point where it's at 6 figures per month in like revenue. Like, that's the goal for the shop right now in the next 12 months. So with that being said, when we think about tying it back into attention being the new currency, if you can grab somebody's attention like with a little preview or a little appetizer, they're going to be more apt to continue to stay in your world, and you're going to be able to nurture them and lead all roads back to your high ticket. Okay, so I would encourage you guys, if that's something that you're thinking about, definitely like dive into it, because it's a complete game changer, and we are already seeing the fruits from that. And I'm just excited getting people what they need, how they need it, in these like smaller bite-sized chunks, and then getting them to ascend into our higher ticket, higher level program. So ascension models are definitely going to help you capture that attention on the front end and keep people, okay? So really the last point that I want to make with you guys today on the podcast, on this episode, is that you have to understand that the person that's willing to spend the most to acquire the customer will win. Okay, so by being able to launch ads that basically pay for themselves and launch a funnel that basically pays for itself, you're going to be able to outspend your competition. I can think of one person specifically in my market that literally spent 10 times the amount of money on ads that I did, and they have a 10x bigger business than I do, right? It literally makes sense. And before, if you were just spending money and you weren't ascending them, like, it would be really scary, right? Because you cash flow drag, because you're not seeing the cash flow for weeks or months. So you're not going to necessarily be able to spend tons and tons and tons of like thousands and thousands and multiple 5 figures on ads up front. Where before, right, when, the other thing too is that ads were cheaper 6 months ago or a year ago. Now they're getting more expensive, which is not a problem, but that's going to cause people to drop out of the game. that's going to cause people to drop out of the game. They're going to drop out of the race. And what that means is that you're going to be left with either like fighting teeth and nail for these clients and customers, or you're going to be willing to spend a little bit more, get them in the door with something a little bit lower ticket and an ascension model, funnels that basically sell themselves, right? And then you can ascend them. So then you're basically, the goal will be to get as close to break even as possible on the front end. You're not necessarily going to be making a profit. That shouldn't be your goal, but you should have this higher level ascension model in place so that the back end is essentially basically almost all profit. And that's how you're going to be able to not only acquire more customers, but also retain them. Because so often, and even for me for a long time, you guys, I talked a lot about how, let's get more clients or enroll more clients. And I think that's really powerful. But not a lot of people are talking about how can we retain more clients? How can we keep the clients that we already have? You guys have all heard this saying. It's so much easier to sell a client that's already sold than to acquire a new client, right? It's so much easier. And the more and more that this market has shifted, you just have to play the game, y'all. You just have to play the game. And 99% of people, I'm going to talk about this and they're going to say, oh, that was great. And then 1% of people are going to actually execute and do something with this. And I'm always going to be a part of the 1% because this is what innovation looks like. This is what being ahead of the curve looks like. I think about Bitcoin and crypto, and there's all these people that are like, oh, I wish I would have invested back in 2008 or 2010 or 2014. And it's like, well, you didn't. So what are you going to do about it now when there's an opportunity to grow, to scale, to be innovative, right? To play the game, right? Some of y'all have to drop your ego when we think about this is a game. This is not anything more than that. Obviously, we're dealing with people's lives. Obviously, we're dealing with people's businesses. This is very real. But in the grand scheme of it, if we can gamify it, right, and look at, okay, how can I move I don't know how to play chess, so let me not make that analogy, but how can I run the race a little bit faster? How can I get in front of my competition a little bit quicker, right? How can I get to my clients faster, quicker, easier? Because here's the thing, people are ready and willing to buy. It's just a matter of fact if they're going to buy from you or somebody else. And if somebody's getting in their news feed, if somebody is getting in their news feed 5-10x faster than you are, then it is what it is. So you get to make a decision. Are you going to be the 99% that sits back and says, well, I wish I would have? Or are you going to be the person that's like, hell yeah, I did that? And I just want to continue to spread this message because the market has shifted. So how we were doing things even a year or 2 years ago, again, it's not that it doesn't work. We just have to amplify what's already working. And that's why I'm so passionate about ads. I'm so passionate about generating leads, because if you can get the leads, acquire the leads, and then retain them, you have a business for life. Like literally, you have a business for life. So I want you guys to start thinking critically about how can you not only acquire customers faster, how can you spend more to acquire the customer, something that your competition is not willing to do, right? In order to be great, you have to do things that normal people aren't willing to do. Okay. So most business owners are not going to be willing to spend money on marketing. They're not going to be willing to do that. And they're going to be sitting here in a year from now wondering why they're out of business, or why they're not making the money that they want, or why everybody that comes to them is like, dang, I wish I would have found you sooner, but I went with that coach, right? That's what's going to happen. And this isn't me being negative or anything. You guys know I'm a very optimistic, positive person, but there's sometimes we got to be really real with ourselves. And this is me being really real with all of you, because I want you to understand that time is of the essence. We cannot continue to sit here and act like we have 12, 18 months to make these changes, because by the time you make these changes, if you wait 18 months, it's going to be the next wave, right? We're going to be back to maybe just selling high ticket. We're going to be, there's going to be different nuances and changes. So we have to realize that getting focused and staying the course and being disruptive and having an ascension model and spending more on our customers to acquire them is what's going to win the game. And if you're not in it to win the game, then you have to ask yourself, why are you even here? So attention is the new currency. It's really going to be about who can get to our customers faster, our clients faster, who can get them sold out on you, right? And that's why we're doing our podcast and our YouTube. Like, you don't have to do tons of content. And I didn't do content for like 2 years, and now I don't regret that. But I look back and I'm like, okay, even if I would have just was consistent with just a podcast, like we would have a stronger brand, right? Because brands last forever. Think about Chanel, think about Range Rover, think about some of these big brands, these luxury brands, even like Walmart. Like, I don't really like Walmart, but think about these brands. Like, they have, you know who they are and what they stand for. You know their mission and their values and their end goal, and their, like, you just know. So we have to be cognizant of how the market's changing, and if we want to capture that attention, then we have to change, period. And I know change is really uncomfortable and it's not fun, and sometimes, but you are in it for the journey. You're in it for the long run. You're in it for impact. And in order to do that, you got to make the changes that are going to allow you to capture the attention that you need, so that your business is profitable, so that you're serving the clients that you need to serve and want to serve. And this is not an optional thing, you guys. Like, it's not optional. It's very much necessary if your goal is to build a brand and a legacy and be able to maybe exit your business one day for a profit, okay? So as I've scaled my business, I've really, there's definitely been some things I wish I would have done differently, but I'm making all those changes now. And I'm so grateful for the business that I've built. And I also know that there's going to be more and more people to compete with. So we can either do something about it or not. And I hope that y'all understand that doing something about it is going to be the best option to give your brand and business longevity. Because when I think about ads are a way to get people in the door. Ads are a way to get people to know you, right? Because they can't like and trust you if they don't know you. And also, we have to continuously build that like and trust over time, okay? And that's where your brand and your content and being disruptive and innovating and having an ascension model is going to help you forever, right? And constantly being on that cutting edge, because we don't want to be the Kmarts and the Blockbusters of the world, okay? So I hope you guys found this really helpful. There's a couple of ways that we can help you inside of your business. So if you're just looking to, be able to start generating leads on autopilot, and your goal is to really start to sell your programs and courses on autopilot, go ahead and submit your application for leads on autopilot in the links below in the description box. And if you want us to just do it for you, we can also help you with that too. So just send me a DM over on Instagram if you want to know more about our done for you option, because we do both, and I would love to help you either way. And last note too, if you're just looking for like a little template, a sales page template, or a email sequence or anything like that, head on over to theonlinecoachshop.com and grab it, shop till you drop, honey, because the online coach shop is like honestly, it's like my favorite thing right now. So there's plenty of ways that you can work with us, and I'm just here to serve you and here to support you on your journey, and I'm excited to see where you go next. So if you found this helpful, be sure to leave us a rating and review or a thumbs up over on YouTube, and take a screenshot and share this over on Instagram and let all your friends and entrepreneur friends know what you're listening to and jamming out on. I would love to see it over on the gram. So I love y'all. Hope you have an amazing week. And I'm going to go celebrate the last week of my 20s. And by the time y'all hear this, I will already be 30. And I just can't freaking wait. All right. I love you guys. And I'll talk to y'all in the next episode.